So today I will give a talk that will link all the topics I'm interested in, such as art, technology, and mass communication. The lack of concrete and systematic review and conceptualization of NFTs communication model was a limitation that was a main driver for conducting this research that combines to a deep understanding of NFT technology, blockchain technology, and gives an overview of their potential positive impact on the communication process in the creative industries. So, in particular, here I try to address this by answering the following questions. What is the potential and the benefits of blockchain technology and NFTs for creative industries? How has NFTs emergence and spread in the last couple of years transformed the principles of communication in creative industries? First of all, let's take a quick look at the creative industries concept. Originally, creative industries were developed from cultural industries that are considered as those that combine the creation, production, and commercialization of contents which are intangible and cultural in nature. The term was coined in the late 1940s by the German philosophers and critical theorists Theodor Adorno and Max Horkheimer, who used the term in their book Dialectic of Enlightenment. They were the leading members of Frankfurt School and Marxists, so being leftists, they criticized popular culture, which is, they thought, akin to a factory producing standardized goods like press, music, films. And they thought that they manipulate mass society into passivity and used the term in contrast with authentic culture. Later on, in the 1960s, researchers started realizing that commodification did not constantly or essentially damage cultural expression, and by the 1980s, the cultural industries began to be used positively in academics and policymaking. In the 1990s, policymakers converted the term cultural industry to the term creative industry, one of the concepts that marked the beginning of the digital era. So today, cultural industries are best described as a cross-sector with creative industries that is considered as a variety of economic activities which involve the generation and use of knowledge and information and include art, design, music, film, fashion, and others. Considering different approaches to defining creative industries, the researchers usually used four groups. You can see them on the slide. The first approach is supported by researchers who put creative industries on par with other industries. The second approach is reflected mainly to the concept of the creative class, the term proposed by American theorist of urban studies Richard Florida, who says that creative class is a key driving force for economic development in post-industrial cities. The third approach provides places, includes the concept of creative city. And the fourth or last approach views the creative industries as an important part of the broader economic system. It is worth noting that modern researchers emphasize that creative industries should not be viewed simply as a sector of economy or an isolated area, because there are forms and practices with which creative industries are inextricably linked, such as creative networks, creative spaces, and events. Moreover, today, art, design, music, video, and other creative products, as well as the process of their creation, are often presented in digital forms and spaces that are greatly influenced by emerging technologies which transform the communication between industry actors. But before talking about the current communication model that dominates today, I will pause for a moment on the stages of its evolution that can be distinguished into three stages. At the first stage, the emphasis was clearly in linear one-way communication, and the main term was manipulation. This type of communication is common in Western culture. Aristotle was the first to take an initiative and design the communication model, and according to his model, the sender is active member and plays a role in communication, key role, and the receiver is a passive one. In its modern form, this model was developed by the American mathematicians and scientists Claude Shannon and Warren Weaver in the late 1940s in their book, The Mathematical Theory of Communication. This model describes communication as a linear process and is called as the mother of all models. The communication models developed in the second phase were largely aimed at addressing some of the previous shortcomings, conceptualizing communication as a two-way process, the interaction between communicator and the receiver. It was best described by the American theorist of mass communication, Wilbur Schramm. Most importantly, this model accounts for how people interpret the message. Schramm argued that a person's background, experience, and knowledge are factors that impact interpretation. The third model sees communication as interaction in specific social cultural contents through shared meanings. This transactional model is the most dynamic of these communication models and implies that communication is achieved as people both send and receive messages. There are also levels of problems of communication. There are technical problem, how a channel causes a problem. Semantic problem is the meaning of message sent and received very different. And effectiveness problem, how effectively does the message cause reaction. The invention of the internet and social media greatly simplified the interaction of creative industry actors. However, part of the interaction is still the shadow activity. Established in recent decades, the communication model remains beneficial only to third parties, remaining problematic and dishonest to content creators and their audiences. The ability to change this situation appears with the proliferation of new technologies such as blockchain and NFTs. So what is an NFT? I guess many of you know, but I will briefly describe for those who are not completely familiar with them. Adjective non-fungible is usually used in economics to denote the possession of unique items and to describe things that cannot be replaced by others because they have a set of exceptional properties. A token as a unit of account is a record on the distributed ledger that is controlled by a computer algorithm of a smart contract in which the values of the balances of token holders are recorded, making it possible to transfer them from one wallet to another. So the term NFT refers to crypto assets that represent intangible digital files such as images, audio, video, in-game collectibles, and other creative products. In 2021, you all probably saw this NFT hype as the market and the ecosystem grew at an unprecedented rate. And now the global NFT market is expected to grow from $14 billion in 2021 to $21 billion in 2022 at a compound annual growth rate of 52%. Here you can see the main industry players by categories. The main types of non-fungible tokens are art, collectibles, gaming, metaverses, sports, utilities, and others. Art is the most common use case for NFTs. Sensational high-profile auctions of NFTs linked to digital art have received considerable public attention recently. The most expensive sales hit the headlines as they fetched millions. In 2022, the most expensive art NFT with a price for about $92 million was the work Merge by a pseudonymous digital artist named Pak. And Beeple's Everyday is now the second most expensive NFT with a price of about $69 billion. The most visited and used platform for hosting NFTs is OpenSea Mass Marketplace. a universal platform that allows users to trade NFTs, create them, view data on them, and check statistics. One of the reasons it is so popular as it is self-service based and not created like, for example, Nifty Gateway or Super Rare. Music NFT also have a large devoted community and are on the way to adoption. One of the biggest decentralized music platforms is Audios, with about a dozen million monthly users. There are metaverses, are networks of 3D virtual worlds focused on social connections, where users can create content and interact with one another. Some of them organize regular events for users. For example, CryptoVoxels, the first blockchain-based virtual world, has several art galleries where users can buy art in form of NFTs. So in a nutshell, the main benefits of the blockchain technology are as follows. Each NFT is unique and limited in quantity, as well as not replaceable with similar tokens. Ownership records are stored on the blockchain. Every NFT has an owner, and this is of public record. Content creators can access global market, easily reach to collectors and the community of like-minded people. And due to the advantages of the blockchain technology, content creators can claim royalties directly. The advantages NFTs propose for changing the current communication paradigm in social fields and hence in creative industries have already manifested themselves, locally transforming an indirectly hierarchical model. First and foremost, NFTs have created the possibility to eliminate intermediaries from the communication process, allowing content creators to connect directly to their audience. There are no more third parties in face of large distributors, labels, art portals, restricting the rights of content creators of digital goods. Artists just upload their content to the NFT platform, mint tokens, and choose a selling method. It could be a fixed price auction or an auction, and NFTs create the environment to direct communication between artists and their potential customers. Only NFT marketplace plays the role of communication mediator. Also, with NFTs, artists have now an opportunity to honestly monetize their work, as it is now possible to automatically pay royalties, fairly distributed in accordance with the contribution to the creative process of each of the participants. Due to the blockchain technology, each actor can now see the exact time of creation of each digital object and the number of interactions with it, what income it brings, and who gets what percentage, which makes communication across industries direct and potentially fair. NFTs open up new monetization opportunities for artists. If in traditional art world, content creators usually didn't receive a percentage of secondary sales, thanks to NFTs today, digital artists can receive them in a fully automated way. What's more, blockchain platforms are designed to make the experience interactive and profitable not only for artists but for the audience as well, by offering all kinds of incentives, for example, for compiling personalized collections, contributing to increasing the database of artists, venues, or events. These improvements are to lead to a more diverse and transparent industry. However, despite the apparent advantages of NFT solutions, it is still difficult not to pay attention to several problems. As for the audience and consumers, it is still more common to use familiar major services, as well as for the majority of non-techie artists. For example, to use Spotify instead of Audios to listen to music. There are also still no official public registers of copyright and no global standards of licenses, since different rules apply in different regions. The problem of NFT storage still remains. It is expensive to store NFT on the blockchain, so they are usually stored in distributed file systems like Airweave or IPFS, or even on centralized ones, so any NFT can be potentially manipulated. It is still difficult, there is still difficulty in assessing the uniqueness and understanding how many copies exist, as well as difficulty in finding the original owner of the NFT. Copyright protection issues are rising more and more often when uploading content to an open, non-curated platform. Never stop wondering that absolutely any media file can be sold on your behalf, no matter if it's a selfie taken a few seconds ago or a masterpiece of a well-known artist. There are also some environmental concerns, as the majority of NFT platforms are Ethereum-based, which uses proof-of-work algorithm and consumes a lot of energy, and difficulty in determining the value of the NFT. All these problems still exist, and researchers and engineers are puzzling over their solutions. Some known solutions are Ethereum transition to proof of stake to eliminate sustainability problem, and for example, crypto biometrics to solve the originality and ownership problem by creating biometric identifiers that can be used as an option for user authorization, which are developing by Humanoid project, for example. That's it. Thank you.
Any questions? In general, can you please describe us like your background in NFTs? Like what exactly do you do with Paradigm, etc.?
I'm a researcher at Paradigm, so in NFTs, I use NFT platforms as an artist, so I was involved in the process of creating, minting NFTs.
Okay.
And researching the space, not only for Paradigm, but for my needs.
Yeah, I see. And are there any links to the stuff that you've created? So maybe we can...
Links, you can see me by this username everywhere.
Okay, so we'll probably find a way to share the presentations of our speakers with you so that you've got access to all the materials, and you can find the handle of Sasha over there, so please subscribe, follow, etc.
Hi, thanks for your talk. Alex here. What's your take on NFTs, not only as an image, but maybe audio, video, other mediums? So are they harder to create? Where do you see the future there in not only images, graphics, but audio and animated?
Okay, thank you for your question. So I think if you're an artist, it is not hard for you to create an audio or MP3, and to mint a token on NFT platform, it's really easy without any, experience in computing experience.
Okay, I shouldn't probably.
There are a few platforms that trade audio NFTs, and the majority of the mass marketplaces also trade them. Thank you.
Okay.
So I was wondering, thinking about what's next in NFTs, what are your thoughts on dynamic NFTs?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Like dynamic NFTs, I was wondering, what do you think about where dynamic NFTs are going, and what's adoption looking like there?
I think it's the point of further research, but I guess we'll have a big future.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, one moment, please, because we need the people on the live stream to be able to hear the questions.
You touched upon the topic of NFT fingerprinting to go through the provenance and all of that. Can you elaborate a bit more on that?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Sorry. You touched upon the topic of NFT fingerprinting.
Fingerprinting?
To look at the provenance of an NFT to identify who owns it, who does it, and how does it go, or watermarking or something like that.
Sorry, I don't get it.
It's okay.
Okay. Thank you very much for the presentation. And the next one, yep. So.